Welcome to the continuation of The Source. This is episode 12, and my name is Kingsley Imufua, your host. Welcome to episode 12 of The Source, a deep dive into James Michener's monumental novel about the land of Israel, the people who built it, and the civilizations buried beneath its soil. The artifact at level 4 is a bronze seal, issued on June 11, 1271, by Volkmar VIII upon his investiture as Count of Makor. The obverse reads, Volkmar VIII of Gretz, sire of Makor, Count of the Kingdom of Acre. The reverse reads in French, This is the castle of Makor de Jesus. It was deposited in the ruins on April 2, 1291, 6 weeks before the final fall of Acre that ended the Crusader era entirely. The seal encapsulates everything about the world it came from. The German-French hybrid culture of the Crusader states, and the deep personal identification of the Volkmar family with their castle. In those last words, de Jesus, was the theological conviction that made 200 years of impossible geography and warfare feel justified. It is not a castle, it is the castle of Jesus. The implication is that God has given it to them, and what God gives, no human army can take away. History, of course, would demonstrate otherwise. By 1289, the Crusader kingdom is a fraction of its former self. Jerusalem has been lost since 1187, when Saladin retook it. City after city along the coast has fallen. Only the chain of seaports from Antioch to Acre remains, and even these are living on borrowed time, protected partly by the military orders, partly by Italian fleets, and partly by the extraordinary pragmatism of trading relationships. Volkmar faith is joined in this episode by the old Arab merchant Muzaffar, a Muslim trader who has done business with the family for decades. Muzaffar has lent them money for weddings and is kissed warmly on both cheeks by the countess when he arrives. The relationship is quietly powerful, two men on opposite sides of a conflict who have long since understood each other as human beings. They drink tea, they negotiate, they are friends. A world where commerce and humanity bridge the gap of war. The Mamelukes, originally slaves imported from Asia to serve the Sultan, had by this time taken over the entire Muslim empire. Their leader, the Sultan Khalil, was a man of military genius and absolute determination to end the Crusader presence permanently. In 1289, he took Tripoli. In 1291, he moved against Acre, the last major Crusader stronghold. Khalil's army numbered 100,000 men. The walls of Acre were among the most formidable in the world. The siege lasted 6 weeks. On May 18, 1291, the walls were breached. The city fell in one of the most violent and chaotic episodes of the era. The survivors who could reach the sea escaped on vessels. They escaped on Genoese and Venetian vessels. The rest were killed or enslaved, a whole world vanishing in the smoke. At Makor, the story plays out with equal intensity. Volkmar VIII watches the approach of the Mameluke army from his battlements. He knows the castle cannot hold indefinitely. He has lived his entire life understanding that the day of reckoning was coming. He is not a fool. He has read the political reality clearly for years. What he has not been able to do is leave. Neither can his men. Because Makor is not just a castle, it is a home. The family's dead are buried here. The water of Hupo's tunnel runs through the foundations. The lintel, carved with vines and recarved with crosses, is in the wall of the basilica. 8 generations have lived and died on this mound. The castle burns. The seal is deposited in the rubble. The family of Volkmar, if any survive to reach the sea, will not return. 200 years of Christian rule in Galilee ends in an afternoon. History has moved to the next layer of the tell. The Crusades are treated as a failure or a trauma, but Michener sees something more complicated than any of these framings. They were a transfer of wealth, technology, and knowledge from the more sophisticated Islamic civilization that would fuel the Renaissance. The Crusaders who came to teach ended up being taught. and they left Makor. The ruins of the castle are there in the Tell. The descendants of the Arab families who watched them come and go are still in Galilee. The water tunnel still runs underground. The source does not stop. Every great wave of conquest produces the same transformation. Conquerors become history. That brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you found that as rich and thought-provoking as I did. Do not forget to subscribe, like, share and comment. Kingsley Emefuwa, your host, signing off. See you in the next episode.